When we hear an animal's name, we often have a mental image of its size. However, there are some creatures in the animal kingdom that can challenge our expectations and defy the laws of nature with their enormous proportions. From Chubbs, the world's largest alligator, to Darius, a rabbit that's as cute as it is massive, and the legendary Crabzilla. These are the colossal animals that have been captured on camera, pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible in the animal world. Chubbs the alligator. Chubbs, a huge alligator who's changing how we think about these creatures. Most alligators are about 8 feet long and weigh around 1,000 pounds, but Chubbs is way bigger. He's a whopping 15 feet long. People saw this massive gator walking on a golf course in Palmetto, Florida. Chubbs is so gigantic that he looks more like a dinosaur from long ago than a regular alligator you'd see today. His size is mind-blowing and makes him stand out among the rest. Seeing him up close might make you think you've stepped back in time to when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Giant manta ray. A huge, super big manta ray caused a stir in Karnataka, India, when some fishermen caught it. This giant sea creature was really heavy, weighing a whopping 750 kilograms. They had to use a big machine called a crane to lift it out of the water. Surprisingly, those fishermen caught another pretty big manta ray too, but it was much smaller, only 250 kilograms. Compared to the gigantic one they found first, it looked tiny. Massive wolf. A huge wolf, caught on camera by a surprised driver, seems like it's straight out of a werewolf story. Unlike the usual idea of wolves being slim and quick, this massive one challenges our expectations with its enormous size and strong presence. It serves as a living example that nature's marvels can be surprisingly amazing and a bit scary. This wolf, standing out from the ordinary, reminds us that there's always more to discover in the wild, and it's not always what we expect. So, next time you think about wolves, remember that some of them might be much bigger and more formidable than you ever imagined. World's largest anaconda. Check out this massive anaconda found in Brazil after an explosion at a construction site. It's a whopping 33 feet long, 3 feet wide, and weighs 880 pounds. The authorities had to come and use a big crane to lift it out of the mess. No one knows where it is now, but hopefully, it stays far away from where people live and doesn't bother anyone. It's wild to think about such a huge snake, and it's probably best if it stays out of our everyday world. Tickle Me Elmo. Even though it's called Tickle Me Elmo for fun, this pig is no joke. Weighing a massive 1,300 pounds, this pig was bred to join the heavyweight pig tournament at the Indiana State Fair. It's way bigger than most pigs, showing how farmers can breed animals for contests to be really huge and impressive. Ocean sunfish. Imagine finding a huge sunfish while fishing in the Mediterranean Sea. This giant fish weighed more than 2,000 kilograms, was 10 feet long, and over 9 feet wide. It made a world record in Kyoto, Spain. Although it was put back into the ocean, sunfish can be aggressive and protective of their space. So, if you ever swim in the Mediterranean, be cautious of these massive creatures swimming just beneath the surface. They might not be as friendly as they seem. Nick is the cow. Get ready to be amazed by Knickers, the enormous cow from Australia. Standing at an impressive 6 feet 4 inches and weighing a whopping 1.4 tons, Knickers is a real giant in the world of cattle. Just seeing him next to a group of regular-sized cows highlights his extraordinary size. Despite being so big, Knickers is a friendly giant, getting along well with his smaller cow buddies as shared by his farmer owner. His size is truly something to marvel at, making him a unique and gentle presence in the pasture. Big Jake the horse. Big Jake was no ordinary horse. When he was born, he was a regular size, But he kept on growing. He became really huge, weighing over 2,500 pounds and standing 6 feet 10 inches tall. In 2010, the Guinness Book of World Records named him the tallest living horse. He ate a lot too, having 2 buckets of grain and a whole bale of hay every day. Sadly, Big Jake passed away in 2021, but he left behind a big legacy. People remember him as a really big and gentle horse. Darius the rabbit. Introducing Darius, the super big rabbit measuring a whopping 4 feet long. He comes from a line of huge continental giants, with his grandpa Roberto at 3 feet 6 inches, Grandma Amy at 4 feet, and Mom Alice at 3 feet 3 inches. Darius proudly became the world's longest bunny in 2010, keeping up his family's tradition of being impressively large. Massive Tibetan Mastiff. The Tibetan Mastiff is a really big dog, like super huge. They're ancient dogs from China, known for being really, really large. Yushu, the biggest Tibetan Mastiff in the world, weighs more than 250 pounds and is as tall as a donkey. A lot of their weight comes from their thick fur, but don't underestimate them. They're strong and can take care of themselves just fine. Huge Harpy Eagle. The Harpy Eagle is one huge bird, maybe the biggest of its kind. Its wings are super wide, and its feet look almost like human wrists. Meeting this amazing creature would be pretty scary because it's so huge. With its massive size, the Harpy Eagle is a really strong bird in the bird world. It makes us amazed and curious about what else this majestic bird can do that we don't know about yet. Lolong, the colossal crocodile. Lolong was the biggest crocodile ever caught by people. He measured an incredible 20.24 feet long and weighed around 2,270 pounds. They found this huge reptile in the Philippines, where it was thought to have attacked and killed 2 humans. After they caught Lolong, lots of people came to see him because he was so huge. But after a year, he passed away while being kept in a place, making people remember him as a remarkable find in the world of amazing animals. World of megabats. Imagine bats as big as eagles. These giant bats were found in the Philippines by the military. They have huge wings that stretch up to 6 feet wide, and their bodies and heads can be over 11 inches long. They weigh more than 2.5 pounds, which is quite heavy for a bat. Even though they might look scary, these big bats don't harm people. They eat fruit, nectar, and pollen, not blood, like in scary stories about vampires. So, no need to worry about them turning into creatures of the night. Huge moth. Imagine finding an enormous moth in your house. Pretty scary, huh? Well, someone actually experienced this. The bug was as big as a human hand, about 7 inches wide. Even though it might not be dangerous, just seeing it could give anyone goosebumps. Moths are usually tiny and harmless, but this one was a total surprise, turning into a real fright fest when it showed up unexpectedly huge. World's biggest elephant. Meet the biggest elephant in the world. A huge 80-ton giant living in a Tanzanian wildlife sanctuary. Even among other elephants, this colossal creature is exceptional. Its tusks are enormous, almost as big as a person. You might wonder if the ground shakes when this giant walks. If it does, it wouldn't be surprising. Giant cassowary. Cassowaries, these big and fascinating birds that can't fly. They're some of the heaviest birds around, even though emus are taller. Cassowaries are like the champions of the bird world when it comes to being heavy. They look a bit like dinosaurs that are still alive today. If you went back in time to the Triassic period and saw them, you'd think they belong there. They have that ancient vibe about them, like they've been around forever. Mystery sea creature. Imagine stumbling upon a massive, hairy enigma on the shores of Oriental Mindoro in the Philippines. enough to give anyone the creeps. This creature, stretching over 20 feet, appeared shaggy and otherworldly, earning it the eerie nickname Globster. Initially perceived as a bad omen, the mystery was eventually unraveled. It wasn't a mythical monster, but the decomposing remains of a deceased whale. Crisis averted. We hope you enjoyed this intriguing discovery. Stay tuned for more fascinating videos. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for updates and more captivating content.